Hi everybody, watch this review here with a look at Agent Helix from the G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra line. Now this is the first G.I. Joe review I've done, and in fact it's also the first G.I. Joe figure I've bought in about 15 years I think. Because the last ones I bought I believe were from the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat lines. Now, I had checked out all these figures in stores because there were a few characters I kind of did want to pick up, like Baroness I was sort of looking at, and Cobra Commander I would have picked up. I don't like the scarred face that much. But in general, I didn't like the hair effects and the facial sculpts and stuff, but this is a bit different. I actually think this one's got a fairly decent looking face, and the hair is sort of interesting. For people not familiar with the character, like myself, I looked up on Wikipedia a bit earlier, and apparently she was a character created just for the video game. So, it's a little interesting. The only other figure I'll probably pick up in the from the Rise of Cobra stuff will probably be the Storm Shadow with the mask on. I mean, I love the Neo Vipers and the Cobra Eels, but they have this weird-ass chest plate thing that doesn't really move or anything, so it looks a little funky. Plus, actually, they have a 2-pack with a Sergeant Slaughter-looking dude that I also want to pick up. Now, this is actually a bit rarer figure. I mean, I hadn't seen it in stores prior to watching this one other YouTube vid where I saw it, and I was like impressed with how it looked. So I decided I'd try to get it at some point, but I finally ended up picking it up at Kohl's. Kohl's had a whole bunch of them. Walmart, Toys R Us, Target, none of them had them. I mean, each of them had, I think it was like 100 figures at Walmart. Target had maybe 50 different figures, and Toys R Us had maybe 30 to 50, and none of them had one of these. So, yeah, I ended up sucking it up and paying 11 at Kohl's as opposed to the between 6 and 8 somewhere else. But I'm gonna open this up, I'm gonna take a look at it, so hang on. Okay, so accessories include a knife that looks like a razor blade, like the old style that Sweeney Todd would use, a rocket launcher with some sort of a weird plasma effect. Again, notice that they opt for the cheap-ass, just one solid color as opposed to using multiple tones on the weapons. Kind of like this Hand Ninja's Naginata here. But I guess weapon realism is probably not a big concern with them for some reason. Two of these guns, these little laser things on top, a larger rifle-ish thing, a web netting, and a stand. Also, there's this little poster thing which is all folded up that has some of the other stuff in the line on the back. All in all, I mean, it's a good amount of number of weapons, but it's just disappointing you don't have any detail on them. I mean, my brother's even bigger weapon fanatic than me. You know, he actually just goes out and he buys these packs for like the little guns and stuff. I mean, like the Halo packs, not like these cheap-ass things. And I'll just like fiddle around with them while he's on the computer or so forth. In terms of the figure is actually great looking as mentioned. I like the hair effect, it's got a nice windswept look. One thing I don't like is the fact that the black highlights do show up in other parts other than just the front. Because I thought that just the bangs would have the highlight, which looks kind of hot, where the rest of the hair is this kind of yogurty purple. Kind of a kooky look, but there are some black shades showing through. So I guess she didn't get a very competent hairstylist, but in terms of articulation, we have a moving forearm, a recessed like peg joint, which will spin and do all this funky stuff, normal shoulder joint, torso moves because waist does not, leg will move. You of course can see the little screw in there. I hate when they have something that visible. A double jointed knee, and same kind of recessed peg on the that you saw on the elbow for the ankle/foot. All in all, very nice looking facial sculpt. Eyes are a little funky though. The pupils are kind of centered on the top, so I can't really tell what she's looking at or anything. Costume-wise too, she's got looks like a backpack here with all these straps, but doesn't really connect anything. It's probably like the worst vest ever. Because I mean, sure, I'll protect her from being shot in the back, but what happens with all the stuff up here? And it doesn't connect to what's clearly a girdle in any way. I don't know why you'd wear a girdle into combat, but... And she has a little thing for a pack of cigarettes there. What's really nice about these figures are I don't notice like any bleed or so forth or any production errors, which is a fairly welcome change after going through a lot of the Marvel universes, which kind of have a ton at times. Let me retrieve what I dropped and I'll get back to you guys in a second. Yeah, seriously thought I lost a gun there for a second too, along with a base, but found it. In terms of scale, if anybody cares, for us Marvel collectors, the Marvel Universe figures are basically the same height, because they are in the 3 3/4 scale, which actually is part of one of my big conspiracy theories, that the whole 3 3/4 scale support is used as a cross-promotional device by Hasbro so they can sell their G.I. Joe figures to Marvel fans, and Marvel and G.I. Joe fans might end up picking up the Marvel characters and so forth, but it's just a crazy theory of mine. There are other dozens of theories about that too. Just like they're trying to resell same stuff, but I'm actually getting horrendously off topic. She's adorable with those little guns. I don't know, I think she's like really young looking face for some reason, but I mean, I've never played the game. I might not ever play the game unless I pick it up on clearance or something. Supposedly it got really crappy reviews, but I don't know, the figure, which was released only in the game, and I guess is kind of a play in one of these, because I think it was produced or something by Double Helix Studios or developed, so having an Agent Helix in the game kind of makes sense in some funny levels, but all in all, very decent looking figure. I mean, I can't complain. It's by far the nicest of the Joes that I've seen for the Rise of Cobra wave. I haven't really been checking up on the Joes that were coming out before it because it didn't really have a tremendous amount of interest, but yeah, very decent looking. I'll probably pose it next to some of my Universe figures. All the very limited number of Universe figures I have, and so let me see if I can get that to work with the base. Yeah! Jackpot. No, doesn't hold. I love that pose though. That's a kick-ass looking pose. I don't know, maybe I can just like attach a rubber band or something and just get that get to connect to the base because the weight's a bit much, but all in all, I would recommend this figure if you can find it, if you're a fan of the G.I. Joe figures and so forth. Till next time, fans.